Hello everyone, it's Zeeebo and welcome to today's AFK journey video. So in today's AFK journey video, we're going to do a wishlist update with Faramor in the discussion. So Faramor right now is still on the banner, roughly about 15 to 17 days, depending on whether or not you're on the VN server or the global server side. But since this unit will eventually go into the all-hero recruitment, we will be putting him in today's discussion. So for today's wishlist, I will be adjusting my wishlist and discussing the different recommended units on the wishlist, as well as the rationale for me putting them there, and then breaking down the alternatives in case this is not what you need for your account, because each account is different. And I think depending on your own build up, depending on which game mode you want to focus on or your current agenda in the game, right, your wish list will change accordingly. So I'll give the different unit explanation as well as the meta units in terms of their current usage in today's video in terms of the wish list breakdown. Okay, so starting off on the Lightbearer side, with regards to the S level, if let's say you want units which are still not available in the seasonal store itself, then I would say go for Vala as well as Siren, because these two S level characters, they are somewhat the stronger Lightbearers in terms of the PvP side, and both of them, they are not obtainable from the seasonal store. So unlike the likes of Sonya, which is available in the seasonal store right now, unlike the likes of Rowan, which is available in the arena store, these two units, they are not available anywhere else except for the all hero as well as the epic hero recruitment. So I'll say most of the time I will put them if let's say this is what you're going after. However, if you're working on strengthening your PvE progression and you're completely new to the game, I'll say at least one copy of Rowan, or if you don't want to put Rowan on a wish list, you just want to ensure one copy of him, you can just buy him from the arena store, then you put your Sonya on the list. So Sonya is one of the best Dream Realm characters, especially if you're new to the game, you don't have some of the strongest units, you don't have some of the strongest buffer, then Sonya can be your buffer, right? This bit for that buffer slot in terms of the damage, and she's also additionally a pretty decent damage dealer, so a really good PvE damage related contents unit that are generally really good. So these are the four units I'll recommend. I'll say Vala and Siren because they are not available anywhere else, and putting them on a wish list will allow you to slowly build them up. However, if let's say you want to focus on your Dream Realm, you want like some of the better units to empower your Dream Realm rankings, then Sonya is a unit you can put on a wish list to accelerate her to the S tier. Additionally, let's say if you have Vala, Sonya, as well as Rowan, as well as Siren built up to your desired tier, Cassidy is a pretty good addition to put on a wish list for general bossing damage. So this is a in and out good magical damage dealer for bossing. If not, this will be the 2S level I recommend, because they're not available anywhere else, then they are still pretty decent for the respective contents that they're good at. So for the A level Lightbearers, I think there's no argument. I think these two units, Sinbad as well as Hugin, they are the best for the slot. So both of them are amazing for bossing. So from this list, you have two S levels which are PvP centric. You have two A levels which are more PvE centric in terms of the bossing side. So Sinbad's one of the best debuffers, one of the best physical damage dealers in one package, and just generally really good this season because of the magical charm as well as the different mechanics in play. And then for Hugin's case, also one of the best buffers for bossing, for Dream Realm, for any game modes where you need a Lightbearer, you need a buffer. Hugin right now is one of the best for that slot. So that's for the A levels for the Lightbearer side. So the other units I will recommend you to put on the A level wishlist in case you already have them built up, and since they are PvE centric, you don't intend to push them onto the Paragon tier. I'll say it's Morale or even Lucius. So Lucius is, I'll say, one of the decent tank options. Not the best tank around, but let's say if your wish list, which the subsequent units, they're not so like tankish by nature, then you can put in a Lucius and then slot Lucius in for that Lightbearer tank in the event you need it. So that will be the Lucius recommendation. And then Morale's, I'll say, pretty decent with the S plus upgrade to give her a lot of damage for general bossing contents where you need magical damage, right? In terms of the current state of the game, I think she's probably going to be usable for Ravage Realm, right? Ravage Realm is one of the game modes where you need to use very specific factions to deal with the bosses every single cycle, and Morale being one of the better damage dealers from the magical side probably will see some use there. So those are the different recommendations for the Lightbearers in terms of the A level as well as the S level. Now for the Maulers, in terms of the few units I'll recommend, I'll say for the S level, it's clearly Shakir and Smokey, because these two units, they are some of the best units all around for Dream Realm, for your AFK stages, for your PvP related contents, and they are not obtainable anywhere else. So if you just started out in the game, they should be on your wish list. You can also put Mikola and Smokey, but for Mikola's case, because Mikola's another unit that can be obtained from the seasonal store, I think you can just buy 1 copy of her, 2 copies of her from the seasonal store, and she is sufficient in terms of doing her job, because her job is just to stay on the field for the heroic duo buff, as well as potentially surviving longer to give even more buff through the Dauntless Hume right here. Additionally, she does a little bit of damage on her passionate opening, but most of the time she's used in the team as a buffer, so 1 or 2 copies of her should be sufficient, and that is where you want to build up the tiers of other impactful S level Maulers like Shakir as well as Smokey in most cases. So Elsa this season is used maybe in the PvP side, not that much right now because there are a lot of better team combos, so not recommended. Rice has always been only really used for the physical Maulers for the Ravage realm, so that's that. And then for Brutus, 1 copy is sufficient. So yeah, like in most cases, Brutus is used in the early game in the AFK stage pushing, but other than that, he falls off pretty much everywhere else. Same as the Rhino, Lumon over here. So yeah, for the S level Maulers, these two, they are the best, and they are really good long-term, I'll say, like investments for this game itself. And then for the A level, it's definitely Odie and Coco without a doubt. Like even with all the recent changes, or even with all the recent additions to the hero pool itself, I think these two units, they are still somewhat the most consistent, as well as some of the best units in the game for what they do. For example, in the PvP side, for the bossing side, damage side, as well as your AFK stage side. So these two units should be built up as much as possible. Odie can go into the Paragon tier, and then for Coco's case, you can also push her to the Paragon tier because she can also be used for the PvP side. And if let's say you don't want to push them to the Paragon tiers, right, you want a more, I'll say, like wide range investment after these units, I'll recommend building up Kruger a little bit for the physical debuffs, that you can put Kruger into the physical teams for your bossing contents, right? Another good unit would be Satrana, right? Satrana is pretty good with the Bonnie combo in the PvP side right now, and I can see a lot of magical synergies that can go with Satrana, especially with her vitality reducing abilities. So that will be the few recommendation, but I'll put Odie as well as Coco here as the topmost priority for all the new people or the people that just started and am not sure, you know, what to push to the higher tiers in terms of like Supreme Plus or even the Paragon tier. Now, next for the Wilders, I think Iron and Lily May is without a doubt, like they are the 2 best units to put here. Like there are a few good units that you can put, for example, like our dear Tarsi. I think Lawson's also pretty decent. So Lawson is one of the newer character this season. So in the next season, right, for the seasonal store, Lawson will eventually go into the seasonal store for you to be able to purchase his shards. So Lawson, Tarsi, as well as Lily May, they are all, I'll say, pretty much going to be obtainable from the season store. For Tarsi and Lily May, they are around already. So right now, theoretically, on a power level sense, I think Iron is generally the most versatile, used in PvP, AFK stages, and certain other PvE contents where you need his control and debuff abilities. As for Lily May is one of the stronger PvP character, one of the stronger wildest damage dealer right now, and generally just really well-rounded character all around. So power level wise, if you are new, don't know what to invest in, Iron and Lily May. If not, if you want to be more PvP centric, Tarsi is more PvP centric and slightly used in your AFK stage teams. In fact, I think right now with Faramor, Tarsi's used with Iron and Twins for the higher level stage pushing for the AFK stages itself. So Tarsi is pretty powerful in basically game modes where she can control and do AoE damage. So that's that. Lawson's used as a synergy unit with a lot of burst comms, right? In the recent Sunrise Challenge, Lawson is used as a core unit for the link as well as the stun onto the enemy and the burst heal that he's able to provide. So these 4 units, I think they're generally pretty decent. As for the rest of the other units, Florbell's pretty weak this season, so not recommended. Hewin, Danny, as well as Brian, they're all obtainable from the arena store, so you can definitely buy them from there if you really need them for your team. I think probably arena store will be Hewin, right? Because Hewin's pretty good for the PvP and general healing in terms of a usage. So that will be the other S level Wilders. Okay, so next up we have the A level Wilders. So before Faramor gets released into the wishlist, I'll say it's Almos and Damien, 3-man as well as the mini card guy. So Damien's pretty much used in all meta teams right now. Damien has always been pretty consistently used for the PvP side because of multitude of reasons. So this unit is generally a good pick for you to build up at least to like the Supreme Plus tier for your PvP usage. And then for our Almos's case, this unit is used with Iron for the Iron Almos Prowling Root combo over here, where Iron pulls enemies and then you instantly root them there. So this combo is still really powerful despite not being as powerful as it used to be, but generally speaking, because of the lack of the tanks in terms of the wishlist side of things, I think Almos is a good put. And then once Faramor drops into the A-level wishlist side, you can replace Almos for Faramor, and then you can continue buying for Almos shard from the seasonal store there. So the reason why, even though Almos is available in the seasonal store, I still put him on a wishlist is because in the seasonal store you have so many good units to buy, right? You have the likes of Lily May, you have the likes of Mikola, you have the likes of, for example, Tasi, as well as, for example, Sonya, right? So this is where Almos priority is really low there, and I generally don't recommend you buy your shards from the store for Almos. You just put him on a wish list and then you just generically upgrade him. And then if you have all these units built up, then I think Lenya as well as Arden, they're also amazing good wilder A-level characters that you can put on the wish list in terms of the other units once you have all the units built up. So Lenya is one of the stronger physical wilders carry, and then Arden is a good AoE damage dealers together with our Iron as well as Almos. So that will be for the wilders wish list. These two will be for those of you guys who just started, and then you can put the subsequent additions based on whether or not you want to push the others to Paragon tiers and whether or not you know, you are waiting for Faramor in terms of your build up itself. Now I'll put Almos back, and then for the Graveborn side, I'm gonna put Ludovic and Torrent here. So I think Ludovic, Carolina, Ludovic with one copy Nara. Nara is used mostly as a one copy in most cases, so I don't think you should put her here, but you can definitely put one. I put here to get one copy of her, and then you are done with that. But generally speaking, I think I would recommend Torrent, either Torrent or Carolina for this, because Carolina's still decent as a magical damage dealer. She's used quite a bit across multiple different game modes where you need a Graveborn magical damage dealer for AoE damage with a little bit of control. Ludovic is one of the strongest healers in the game, and also used for endless dreamland bosses, even though you can buy for Ludovic's shard from the seasonal store. But like I mentioned, right, you have so many other good options that you can pick from the seasonal store with your seasonal tokens. I would just deep rather put like Ludovic on the wish list and then just build her up. So same thing for Sonya on top. So let's say if, like I mentioned earlier, you feel that Sonya is a really top priority, then you should put Sonya on the wish list, right? If not, then Vala, because she's very rare. So this will be like the different substitutes I was talking about in terms of what your account need, because some accounts might not need Sonya at this point, right? And some accounts might need Vala more at this point. But let's say if you were to base it on the rarity as well as your power level, I'll put Vala, because Vala, you can't get her anywhere else. So that's with regards to the S level for the Lightbearers. And then for Ludovic's case, it's because all of the other Graveborn, I would say like S level characters, they are okay, but Ludovic's like, ooh, really good. So like you want to prioritize getting her tiers up, and then for the next lot, let's say if you want a proper tank, if you still need time to build up Fresto, if you are building up twins for your Celestial Hypogean, then you can put in Torrent to use Torrent as a tank first. Because like if not, your wish list will be pretty tankless. So I mean, tank is not a must-have for all game modes, but at least having one tank, which is, I'll say, decent on the damage dealing side for your PvP, or even like a debuffer with HP percentage damage with the magic charm abilities as well as the skills, is also okay. So that's why Torrent is also fine. So I'll say between these two. Okay, so this will be the wish list recommendation. I'll put Torrent here because it will make the wish list more comprehensive in terms of the units. And then for the A level, pretty simple. Bonnie is definitely a must-have because she's generally really good for PvP and a lot of PvE contents. And then for the other A levels, I'll say it's between Niru as well as Sylvina. Niru is used together with the Iron Almos combo because Lily May is pretty much everywhere. So you want to have a Niru to insta-cast the ultimate with the S plus ability, I mean the M plus ability right here, to bait out the Lily May's ultimate. So your Iron Almos can pull through, or your Iron ultimate can pull through in the PvP side. Okay, last but not least, the epic hero wish list. So for this part, I'm gonna cut short a little bit and talk about the key units, or what I feel are the important units units because the videos are a little bit long. But for this one, generally speaking, these are going to be the units you want to prioritize building up first. And in most cases for myself, I'll put units which are not obtainable elsewhere because they are rarer in terms of how you can obtain them. And I'll say topmost recommendation right now is Siren, Smokey, Iron, and Shakir because they are meta generally in terms of usage and they are not obtainable elsewhere. So this is for those of you guys who are slightly lower on resources. You want to min-max in terms of the hero collection, in terms of like the diversity side. You can buy all those strong units like Lily May, Mikola, Ludovic, as well as Sonya from the seasonal store, and then put in the other strong units that are not obtainable there on the wish list right here. If not, another way for you to sort of choose your wish list would be to put all your meta units you want to build up first. So for example, if you want to make a really strong like PvE team, yeah, this will be like the wish list, right, in terms of the PvE side, because these are some of the strongest PvE characters you can put in, and then you want to bump up their tiers as much as possible. So those will be the few, I'll say, like suggestions I have for the wishlist side. So for my free to play account right now, I'm on my free to play account, I'm actually putting Shakir on the wishlist because Shakir is quite good for the PvP side, so he can actually be pushed to the Paragon tier, and generally speaking decent for your PvE contents as well, so that's why he's there. I have Sonya built up to Supreme Plus, so I don't need her further built up. I'm putting Iron on the wishlist because Iron is also another unit which is used for PvP a lot, so Paragon tier is fine. And I'll say for the last unit, I will probably put in a Lawson here. So those will be the few recommendations, or rather this will be how my account wish list looks like. But for your case, like I mentioned earlier, depending on what you need, depending on whether or not you want to have more gacha efficiency, you choose the different units based on your own account needs itself. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys again in my next video. Bye guys.